This is Super Bowl 59, or LIX if you're Roman. Do the Romans even use these numerals anymore? Why are we? It's time to give the numerals a rest. This is Super Bowl 59.
The odds of that happening are extremely small. It's like, did you ever see you go to a driving range in golf and you're hitting balls, hundreds of balls, thousands of hours? I never see a ball hit another ball.
You can bet on which musicians might make a cameo on stage. Will Kanye show up? Will he bring his wife? Will she bring clothes? On Sunday, we will find out.
Studies show that viewers of political comedy are 21% more likely to participate in community discussions about politics. Why? Because segments like Jimmy Kimmel's takedown of Trump's football lies don't just make us laugh. They expose real truths. In this video, we'll show you exactly how Kimmel dismantled Trump's claim of friendship with Patrick Mahomes, complete with Mahomes' own denial. You'll see why Trump's desperate attempt to look like a football fan while simultaneously selling Bibles is the perfect example of his fake persona. The facts here are even funnier than the jokes. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now back to the video. In a move that perfectly captures Trump's relationship with reality.
Football isn't an ancient game, and this isn't the Olympics. Just use the year. You know, they say the Super Bowl is watched all around the world. They love...
The odds of that happening are extremely small. It's like, did you ever see you go to a driving range in golf and you're hitting balls, hundreds of balls, thousands of hours? I never see a ball hit another ball.
Super Bowl Sunday is coming. Super Bowl Sunday, also known as Get Drunk at a Friend of a Friend's Weird Living Room Day, is imminent.
Our former president recently claimed to have a great relationship with Kansas City Chiefs superstar quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Apparently, in Trump's mind, they're practically texting buddies who chat about spiral techniques and how to avoid getting sacked by 300-pound defensive linemen. But here's the thing about Trump's friendships. They tend to exist primarily in his imagination, kind of like his healthcare plan or his border wall that Mexico was definitely going to pay for. Jimmy Kimmel couldn't resist taking this golden opportunity to highlight Trump's latest celebrity friendship fantasy. Can you blame him? It's like watching someone claim they're best friends with Batman, except Batman has the good sense not to deny it because, you know, he's not real. Patrick Mahomes, unfortunately for Trump, is very much real and capable of speaking for himself. When reporters caught up with Mahomes to ask about this supposed friendship, his expression was priceless. Picture someone being told they won a contest they never entered. Complete confusion mixed with that polite Midwestern restraint that Mahomes is known for. The footage shows Mahomes looking genuinely puzzled, like someone just asked him to explain quantum physics while running a 2-minute drill. This isn't exactly a new trick in the Trump playbook. Remember when he claimed to be buddies with Tom Brady? Brady, who once had a MAGA hat in his locker, but later distanced himself faster than a cornerback backpedaling on a deep route. Or how about when Trump suggested he and Serena Williams were tennis pals? Serena's response was about as subtle as her 120-mile-per-hour serve, complete silence that spoke volumes. Kimmel absolutely demolished Trump with what might be the joke of the year, suggesting that Trump doesn't just have a fantasy football team, he has fantasy friendship football. The audience practically needed oxygen after that one. It's the perfect description of Trump's celebrity relationship status, drafted in his mind, benched in reality. The pattern is always the same. Trump claims intimacy with someone famous. Reporters ask said famous person about it. Famous person looks confused, then diplomatically says some version of, what? It's like clockwork, if clocks were powered by desperate attention-seeking instead of batteries. As Kimmel pointed out, Trump seems to believe that merely existing in the same industry or attending the same event as someone constitutes a deep personal connection. By that logic, I have a great relationship with my mail carrier because we both participate in the postal system. We're practically family. What makes this particular friendship fabrication so delicious is that Mahomes represents everything Trump wishes he was: young, athletic, genuinely successful, and universally respected. When you're a three-time Super Bowl champion who married your high school sweetheart and seems like a genuinely decent human being, you don't need to invent relationships to feel important. The build-up to Mahomes' actual response created the perfect comedy tension. Would he play along? Would he go nuclear? Would he reveal they actually do have secret quarterback summits where they discuss the finer points of leadership while eating hamburgers? The anticipation was killing everyone. And then, the moment of truth arrived. When directly asked about Trump's friendship claims, Mahomes delivered a response that was both devastating in its clarity and admirable in its restraint. No drama, no Twitter rants, just a simple, "I've never talked to him." 4 words that collapsed Trump's entire fabricated relationship like a poorly constructed stack of classified documents. It's the verbal equivalent of a perfect spiral thrown right through Trump's ego. No excessive celebration, no taunting, just an efficient completion of the truth that moved the chains of reality forward. That's how a real champion handles things. But this pattern of Trump inventing relationships isn't just funny, it's revealing. It shows a desperate need to associate himself with winners, with people who have earned their success rather than inherited it. There's something almost poignant about it, if it weren't so pathological and wasn't coming from a president of the United States. Trump's obsession with appearing successful extends far beyond fake friendships. He also tries desperately to sound knowledgeable about topics he clearly doesn't understand. When he attended the Super Bowl, viewers witnessed a man attempting to speak football while possessing all the expertise of someone who thinks the 50-yard line is where you wait to buy hot dogs. Jimmy Kimmel had a field day with this performance, highlighting how our former president uses the vaguest possible terms when trying to discuss the sport. It's like watching your uncle, who's seen exactly half of one football game, confidently explain the sports ball situation to actual fans. Trump's football commentary consists almost entirely of generic phrases and awkward nods. The verbal equivalent of wearing another team's jersey to a game and hoping nobody notices. According to Kimmel, Trump's attempts to sound like a football expert were so transparent that even the most casual fans could spot the fakery. When asked about specific plays or strategies, Trump would respond with statements so broad they could apply to literally any sport. That was some very good playing out there, very strong. Some of the strongest playing I've ever seen, maybe in history, he'd say, nodding seriously while clearly having no idea what just happened on the field.
Ball's going up all over the place. You never see him hit.
Anyway, condolences to the families. Donald Trump will be there at the game. He said this is fun. He said he's going to let Elon pick the winner this year. This is Super Bowl 59 or LIX if you're Roman. Do the Romans even use these numerals anymore? Why are we? It's time to give the numerals a rest. This is Super Bowl 59.
Kimmel's show featured a devastating compilation of Trump's football gibberish, with the comedian doing an impression of Trump trying to name positions beyond quarterback. You've got your runners and your catchers and the big guys who push the other guys. Tremendous athletes, some of the best pushers in the business, Kimmel mimicked, capturing Trump's signature stream of consciousness style that reveals complete ignorance of the subject. The audience roared with laughter when Kimmel suggested Trump thinks a tight end is a condition resulting from eating too much KFC. This joke landed particularly well because it connected Trump's football ignorance with his well-documented love of fast food. Two aspects of his persona that contradict the image he tries to project as both a sports enthusiast and a pinnacle of health and fitness. One of Trump's most embarrassing football moments came when he attempted to discuss specific rules and strategies. When talking about a crucial play during an interview, he referred to what was clearly a blitz as that thing where all the guys run at the quarterback at once. I call it the Trump special. Commentators and former players cringed visibly as Trump went on to claim that several teams had adopted plays he'd suggested. Then there was the time Trump confidently explained that a successful quarterback needs to throw the ball in a way that makes it very catchable. Very, very catchable. This profound analysis was delivered with the smugness of someone revealing classified information, when in reality it's the football equivalent of saying water is wet. The former president's football commentary reached peak absurdity when he declared during a rally that he knows more about football than the coaches. This statement, reminiscent of his claims about understanding military strategy better than generals, was met with uncomfortable silence even from his own supporters. One attendee was overheard whispering, "I don't think he knows what a down is." Trump's approach to football mirrors his approach to every other subject he lacks knowledge about. Speak loudly, use superlatives excessively, and attack anyone who questions your expertise. When a reporter once asked him to explain the offside rule, Trump responded by calling the question nasty and suggesting the journalist was biased against him. What makes this pattern particularly revealing is how it's repeated across virtually every field. Whether it's economics, climate science, international relations, or football, Trump employs the same strategy: pretend to be an expert while demonstrating a complete lack of understanding.
Trump was up bright and early today to speak at the National Prayer Breakfast. Trump goes to these prayer breakfasts because he doesn't like it when people worship anyone other than him. Bet a lot of stuff involving Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift could really make a lot of money on Sunday if she wanted to. You can bet on which musicians might make a cameo on stage. Will Kanye show up? Will he bring his wife? Will she bring clothes? On Sunday, we will find out.
The football charade is simply easier for the average American to spot because it's a subject many people genuinely understand. Kimmel's commentary exposed how Trump's superficial engagement with football isn't just amusing. It's part of a broader pattern of inauthentic behavior designed to create an image that bears little relationship to reality. The comedian's observations highlighted that Trump's interest in football was clearly more about projecting relatability than any genuine passion for the game. This was especially evident during the Super Bowl itself, where cameras caught Trump looking bored and checking his phone during key plays. At one point, he was seen asking an aide what had happened after the crowd erupted in cheers, hardly the behavior of the football aficionado he claims to be. Just when you thought Trump's football charade couldn't get more absurd, it turns out our former president was playing quite the double game that weekend. While pretending to understand touchdowns at the Super Bowl, he was simultaneously hawking "God Bless the USA" Bibles for a whopping $59.99 each. Talk about a spiritual side hustle. The contrast between these two personas gave Jimmy Kimmel comedy gold on a silver platter. Imagine trying to sell yourself as both a football fanatic and a Bible salesman in the same weekend. It's like claiming to be both a vegan and a steakhouse critic. Something doesn't quite add up. Kimmel wasted no time highlighting this bizarre juxtaposition. Trump also told the audience we need to bring religion back, Kimmel quipped. And who better to bring it back than the guy who sells God Bless the USA Bibles for $59.99? The audience erupted in laughter as Kimmel's sarcasm cut through Trump's transparent attempt to monetize faith while cosplaying as a sports enthusiast. The late-night host brilliantly structured his segment to maximize the absurdity. He played clips of Trump peddling his overpriced Bibles right alongside footage of him at the Super Bowl looking completely lost. The visual whiplash of seeing Trump solemnly promoting scripture in one moment and then mindlessly scrolling through his phone during a crucial play, the next was comedy dynamite. 1 minute, he's claiming divine inspiration. The next, he's asking an aide what just happened after missing a touchdown. What made Kimmel's takedown so effective was how he connected Trump's religious marketing to his broader pattern of insincerity. There's something distinctly uncomfortable about watching someone who's been married 3 times, has a well-documented history of questionable behavior, and once referred to communion wafers as "my little cracker," trying to position himself as America's Bible salesman-in-chief. Kimmel leaned into this contradiction hard. The timing of Trump's Bible-selling venture wasn't lost on Kimmel either. Launching religious merchandise while attending one of America's most commercial sporting events revealed Trump's true religion: attention and profit. Kimmel suggested Trump's Super Bowl appearance wasn't about football at all. It was about competing with Taylor Swift for the spotlight. He couldn't stand the thought of Taylor Swift getting more attention than him, Kimmel declared, painting a picture of a former president so desperate for cameras that he'd sit through a sport he clearly doesn't understand just to get his face on TV. The evidence supporting Kimmel's theory was right there on screen. While everyone else was engrossed in the game, Trump seemed completely disconnected from what was happening on the field. The juxtaposition of Trump's bored expression during game-changing plays versus his animated hawking of Bibles made for a devastating commentary on his authenticity, or lack thereof. What's particularly noteworthy about Kimmel's approach is how he used humor to expose a serious truth about Trump's public persona. By contrasting Trump's football facade with his Bible sales pitch, Kimmel revealed how Trump creates different versions of himself depending on what he thinks will win approval or make money. Want football fans to like you? Pretend to understand the game. Want to appeal to religious voters? Slap your name on a Bible and sell it at a markup. Kimmel's most biting observation came when he essentially equated Trump's football knowledge with his biblical understanding, suggesting both were equally superficial and performative. Trump knows as much about football as he does about the Bible, which is to say, virtually nothing beyond what might help his image or bank account. The segment worked so well because it wasn't just about Trump's football ignorance or his Bible sales individually. It was about the jarring inconsistency between these two personas and what that reveals about Trump's approach to public life. One weekend, two completely different acts, both equally unconvincing to anyone paying attention. The camera didn't lie either. While Trump tried to present himself as engaged in America's biggest sporting event, the footage showed a man who couldn't even pretend to care about what was happening on the field. If you're going to fake being a football fan, at least try to look interested when everyone around you is cheering. But that would require a level of self-awareness that seems to elude the former president. When you step back and look at Kimmel's takedown, it's really about something deeper than just jokes. As Kimmel pointed out, Trump's been playing fantasy football with his own reality, constantly making up stories about himself that simply aren't true. Whether he's pretending to be Patrick Mahomes' buddy or suddenly becoming super religious while hawking overpriced Bibles, it's all part of the same game. Trump creates these fake versions of himself depending on who he's trying to impress. The football fan Trump, the religious Trump. They're all fictional characters in the ongoing reality show that is his public life.